Are you preparing for the IELTS listening exam? Do you want to boost your score? You are in the right place, just like hundreds of other students. These videos, prepared with IELTS topics and native speakers, will help you improve your listening and vocabulary skills. Watch the video with the visuals until the end, and reevaluate yourself by solving the questions at the end. Improve yourself anytime, anywhere. Let's get started.
Welcome to this deep dive, where we are exploring a really fascinating trend for you today. Right now, in 2026, the demographic buying the most cassette tapes and vinyl records aren't, nostalgic older generation.
Right. It is actually 18 to 24-year-olds, which is just wild.
It really is. And to understand why young people are suddenly so obsessed with hissing tape and scratching needles when they have perfect digital audio in their pockets, we need to go back in time.
Definitely.
Our mission today is to trace the 4 chronological phases of audio recording technology. So that is the acoustic, electrical, magnetic, and digital eras.
It is a remarkable timeline, honestly. If you track how the technology evolves, it is this journey from purely physical vibrations to abstract digital code, and now, well, a surprising return to the physical.
Exactly. So let's start with that first phase, the acoustic era. I think the most important thing to grasp here is that early recording was entirely mechanical.
Right. There were absolutely no microphones, no wires, no electricity involved at all.
Pure physics. Now, I know the very first device to actually record sound waves, the phonautograph, was invented in 1875.
Actually, hold on. Looking at the timeline, it was 1857. That was by Edward Leon Scott de Martinville.
Oh, 1857, my mistake. Thanks for catching that.
Yeah.
But the catch with his device was it could only record the sound waves visually on soot-covered paper, right?
Precisely.
Like it couldn't actually play them back.
Yeah, it basically just drew the sound. It wasn't until Thomas Edison invented the phonograph in 1877 that we finally had a practical device capable of both recording and reproducing sound.
Wow, so he was the first to do both.
He was. He literally used a needle to etch physical vibrations into a tinfoil cylinder.
That is just brilliant. Subsequently, the era shifted in 1925, marking the dawn of the electrical era. Western Electric introduced an integrated electrical recording system, which was a huge deal.
Oh, massive.
Yeah.
Because they finally replaced those giant, awkward mechanical recording horns with sensitive microphones and vacuum tube amplifiers.
Right, but I'm trying to wrap my head around the technical jump here. I read that this expanded the captured frequency response to something like 50 to 5,000 hertz. Is that right?
Close, but oh, wait, checking the exact specifications here, it was actually 50 to 6,000 hertz.
50 to 6,000 hertz. So is it fair to say this leap was basically like going from a blurry, grainy photograph to high definition?
That is a perfect analogy, yeah.
Because the microphone acted like a sharper lens for sound, right? So vocalists didn't have to literally shout into a cone anymore. They could finally whisper or sing softly, giving us that famous crooning style.
Exactly. The microphone completely transformed the relationship between the performer and the listener. It created this level of intimacy that just wasn't physically possible before.
But even with those microphones, you still had to record a whole band live in one single take, right?
We did, yeah.
Moving on to the next phase, that limitation is what pushed us into the magnetic era.
Right, which spanned from roughly 1945 to 1975. Though, the key hardware actually arrived a bit earlier, with the AEG magnetophone tape recorder in 1935.
Oh, I see.
But the absolute game changer scientifically was the invention of AC biasing in 1940.
I have seen that term, AC biasing, but how does it actually work? It says here it drastically reduced distortion by adding an inaudible high-frequency signal, but what does that mean in practice?
Well, think of AC biasing like sanding a piece of rough wood before you paint it.
Okay.
By adding that ultra-high frequency signal, it magnetically smoothed out the particles on the tape.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that allowed the actual music to be recorded linearly without clashing and distorting. This high-fidelity tape is what finally enabled multi-track recording. Artists could now record the drums, rewind, and seamlessly layer a guitar track right over it.
Which changed music forever. And that brings us to the fourth phase, the digital era, starting in 1975. This is the big pivot where we stop storing physical sound waves and start storing code.
Right, a total paradigm shift.
But how do you actually turn a continuous analog wave into digital numbers?
It is through a process called pulse code modulation, or PCM. Basically, an analog to digital converter takes these snapshots of the sound wave at hyper-rapid intervals.
Okay, so it is just slicing up the sound.
Exactly. And the precision is defined by specific data points. Take the standard established for compact discs in 1982. that utilizes a 16-bit depth to measure the volume and a 44.1 kilohertz sampling rate.
Wait, meaning it takes exactly 44,100 snapshots every single second.
Every single second, yes.
That mathematical rigidity is just amazing. On the other hand, despite the flawless perfection of digital audio, physical media is defying the digital age. Which brings us back to that massive analog revival happening right now.
The modern data is staggering, really. Vinyl records have completely transcended simple nostalgia to become a $1.8 billion market today.
It is everywhere now.
It is. And even more surprisingly, cassette sales saw a massive 204.7% surge in Q1 2024. Oh, apologies, let me correct that. The data shows that surge was in Q1 2025. Either way, an incredible leap.
A huge leap. And the fact that 59% of 18 to 24-year-olds are the ones driving this physical format usage, well, it really makes you wonder.
It does.
Digital audio provides immediate access, but it feels like a psychological backlash against streaming. Are younger generations just desperate to regain a tactile sense of ownership over their music?
I really think so. You know, physical media provides a tangible connection. You have to carefully place the needle or flip the tape.
Yeah, you can't just hit shuffle and walk away.
Exactly. It forces a deliberate, focused, aesthetic listening experience that simply tapping a glass screen cannot replicate.
It is a fascinating full circle moment for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We have gone from scratching soot on paper in 1857 to streaming flawless digital code, and now back to collecting tapes.
It really is a crazy journey.
It is. And it leaves me with one final provocative thought for you to mull over. We now have AI algorithms capable of perfectly restoring and isolating voices from decades-old degraded monotapes. But as this technology advances, what will future music fans value more? The mathematically perfect digitally restored sound or the flawed hissing analog original?
Yes, here is a 20-question quiz about the listening text you just heard. Don't forget to check your answers at the end of the quiz. We have reached the end of our IELTS listening practice video. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video to show your support and share it with your friends. I look forward to hearing your ideas for new videos in the comment section. Take care. See you.